Hey, and welcome to this jazz guitar lesson on the harmony of On Green Dolphin Street. In my previous lesson, I covered the chords, went through the form, all the shapes you need, the chart and all such. Link in the description to that video and the resources, the PDFs from that. But today I think we should talk about how the chords are working. It's a good one to sort of look at for interesting moves. For me, for your memory, for your long-term progression, it's really important to try to understand how chords are working in the songs that you learn. In the long run, what it helps with is it really helps you cut down the amount of time it takes you to learn standards, and it helps you make those connections between different songs. Because really a lot of these songs are just doing the same sort of things, although I do think this one offers something different to a lot of others. So here's my chart on the screen from last time. We've got no sharps or flats in that key signature, which means the following chords: C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G7, A minor 7, B minor 7 flat 5, C. So chords 1 to 7. Now on the chart I'm about to show you, blue indicates an in key chord, red indicates an out of key chord, and you'll realise that the in key ones are the ones found in that group of 7 chords, and anything else outside of that is red. So an out of key chord, a borrowed chord from another key if you like. So we start out in a very stable position, chord 1. Now normally, if you go major to minor, it's normally chord 4. So if we take the key of C, you go F to F minor, that'd be 1 to 4, or the minor 4 as it's called, then maybe back to chord 1. But interesting move here, something that also happens in The Man I Love, great ballad. What happens here is chord 1 becomes a minor chord. So we got 2 bars of chord 1, C major 7, and then make that a minor chord. So I've written that as a 1 minor, so in red there. And the next chord, D7/C. So if we looked at our 2 chord back in the key of C, it was D minor 7. So this isn't a minor 7, this is a dominant chord. So I've labelled this as a 2/7, which indicates that it's not a minor 7, it's a dominant 7th. So that's out of key, a borrowed chord if you like, or a secondary dominant. We then have what I've labelled as a flat 2 chord. Flat 2 because 2 is a D, and then D flat we'd call, or C sharp we'd call it a flat 2. And then resolving back to chord 1. So it starts out on chord 1, makes chord 1 minor, so as if like we're moving to C minor. Then we have chord 2 but as a dominant, also with the 7th in the bass, so in third inversion. And then a flat 2 chord, so that's a chord a semitone above the 1 chord, which resolves to C, which is why you get that nice 4. That's D flat falling down into C. Flat 2, flat 2 into 1. As indicated by my colours, it starts out stable, then it gets really tense with those 3 red chords, resolves back to the blue chord. And when you hear it, you can hear it like that now. Here you go, moving away from that stable place, still going away from it, landing back. You think of tension and release, really, isn't it? It's a classic example of it. Now we hit the first time bar, the swing rhythm kicks in, so we got D minor 7, G7, C major 7, F minor 7, B flat 7, E flat major 7, G7 back to the A section, or the first section. I'm sure you've seen D minor 7, G7, C major 7 before. Very common progression. We know that as the 2-5-1. If we think back to my 7 chords in the key, D minor 7 was 2, G7 was the 5 chord, and obviously C major 7 is chord 1. So we start out on a typical move, a 2-5-1 in the parent key of C. And then we've got F minor 7, B flat 7, E flat major, and then the G7 at the end. So obviously we've got the 2-5-1 in C, finish on C major 7. Then we move a 4th away to F minor 7, B flat 7, E flat major 7. I don't know if you can hear, but D minor 7, G7, C major 7 has the same sound quality as F minor 7, B flat 7, E flat major 7. Why? Because that F minor 7, B flat 7, E flat major 7 is also a 2-5-1. It's a major 2-5-1 from the key of E flat major. Here's the chords in the key of E flat major on the screen. E flat major 7, F minor 7, G minor 7, A flat major 7, B flat 7, C minor 7, D minor 7 flat 5, E flat major 7. And we pick out the 2, the 5 and the 1, gives us F minor 7, B flat 7, E flat major 7. So you can think of this first time bar, 2-5-1 in the key of C, and essentially what it does is it moves up a minor third to the key of E flat major. So by that, you know, if you take a C, move up a minor third, you get E flat. So it's that 2-5-1 in C, then 2-5-1 in E flat. And then we need that G7 at the end to take us back to the beginning, because G7 is the 5 chord of C, so that will lead us perfectly back to go back to do another. So let me play the second time bar through. So we got loads of 2-5-1 movements in this too. So we start out on chord 2, D minor 7. We do move to it with the 7th in the bass, so in third inversion, but it's still a 2 chord, right? And then we have B minor 7 flat 5, E 7 flat 9 to A minor 7. Now B minor 7 flat 5 and A minor 7 are chords in the key of C major. But really what's happening here is we're moving to the relative minor. So relative minor of C major is A minor. So what this is, it's a minor 2-5-1 in the relative minor in A minor. So it's start out on chord 2, D minor 7, then the 7th in the bass, then 2, 5, 1. So we're making that the important chord, the A minor 7. Quickly, we're working away from that. We get the A minor 7 slash G, which is that nice bass move down. Now, F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B7. It's the same move as B minor 7 flat 5 to E7, right? This is a minor 2-5. You have to know your 5 chords here and what the 5 chord is in the key of. That's from the key of E minor. So F sharp minor 7 flat 5 to B7 is from E minor, minor 2-5. We hit the next line. It resolves to an E minor, but then goes to an A7. Now, again, if you played enough standards, if you played E minor 7 to A7, you'll know that that's a major 2-5 from the key of D. So E minor 7 to A7 is a 2-5-1 from the key of D. And as you see, it's going blue again, and we need to work our way back to C, and we're going to do that with the 2-5-1 because it's the easiest way to do it. D minor 7 2, G7 5, C major 7 chord 1, and then we can put a D minor 7 G7 at the end, 2-5 to help us start again. So if I go through that slowly and talk through it again, here it is on the screen. So start out on chord 2, and then you got B minor 7 flat 5 to E7 to A minor, so that's a minor 2-5 in the key of A minor. Listen to it resolve to that A minor. So D minor slash C, B minor 7 flat 5, E7, A minor. Let's hit it again. Resolved, but very quickly. We're moving away from there. A minor 7 slash G to walk down to our move to E minor with F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B7. Then we get the 2-5 in the key of D, then the 2-5 in the key of C. Now, why does that work so well, do we think? Well, I particularly think like the last bit, the E minor 7 to A7, D minor 7 to G7, right? So why that works, E minor to A7 is a 2-5 from the key of D major, but A7 works as a dominant for D major or D minor. So really that A7 helps us move to that D minor really neatly if you listen to it. So there. So it's a really nice move, and it's another great example of how songwriters use 2-5s from other keys to move around a little bit. So in that section, you start out on chord 2, you move to A minor, move to E minor, move to D major, and you move back to C. So it really does cycle through a few keys there. But for me, they're all closely related chords. They're not wildly different. The other first time bar with the bit in E flat is, you know, more of a departure for me. So from my previous lesson, get the chords down, get the chords memorized, and start to understand them based on what we've been talking through today. Really get to internalize the sound of those chords, so you don't need the chart. You can learn them from memory. You can hear the sound of the next chord coming before you play it. You can feel where the resolutions are. You can feel the moves. All of this is laying great foundations for you to work on soloing over it. And obviously, you really want to get that melody down. I think it's very tempting to learn a new standard and jump to soloing straight away. Whereas I think if you've got a really, really strong, and I mean really strong, secure knowledge of both the chords and the melody, that third stage of learning to improvise over it, it's so much easier than suddenly just, you know, diving in and having a go. Don't forget you can grab the PDF with all the analysis and the chart and so forth. Link in the description. Join me every Wednesday and Saturday for jazz guitar lessons. Until next time, you take care.